Hello, Astros fans. This is Larry the GM, and we're going to give you a quick premium series guide preview for the Brewers series. Guys, this is a boyhood team for me. I lived in Wisconsin until I was 12, and the Brewers were my team in the late 70s, early 80s after we had moved. Then I adopted the Rangers, but then I saw religion and came to the Houston area as a college graduate and have been Astros fan ever since, which for Larry Jams has been a long time, longer than many of you have been alive. But here we go. The Brewers are in town. We're going to break it down for you quick, go through the series guide, and then we will get you on. This is because this team is special to me, I want to share this data with everybody. So I've made the guide publicly available. I'm making this video publicly available. Normally, these are premium content, $5 a month on the Larry the GM site. Please consider subscribing on the site, guys. And if you see this data, you want more. The money makers get a custom view of that daily matchup between the starting pitcher and the batters, and gives them the potential fantasy picks and or money maker picks. So, guys, let's go into the series. Here we go. The Brewers were not expected to be that great of a team. They're doing really well out of the box, but entering the season, we're projected to be the 19th highest WAR ranked team. There's a bunch of teams right in that little pocket of WAR. So they were the 20th ranked bats, the 12th ranked pitching, and the 19th ranked overall. By positions, you can see where the Brewers are good. We're projected to be good. Obviously, Yelich is way outperforming that projection. You can see the catcher and shortstop were some of their best projections. All right, where are they now? The Brewers are 26-17 on top of the AL Central, doing a really good job. The bats, guys, are the story here. The Brewers are out batting the Astros. You may not think that's that big, but the Astros are doing pretty good as far as bats. I think they're just sixth in baseball. The Brewers are way up there, as we will see. And the pitching is falling off a little bit. You can see we'll see that. Unfortunately, tonight we get Peralta, and he's their staff ace. He's really good. All right, so let's look at the bats. So what I've done for this version, guys, we're working toward actually incorporating full 2024 data into the stuff I show you. Let me blow this up just a little bit because that's a little small. There we go. Here's the table for these two teams. As you can see, the projection. This is the projections data for the rest of the year. Now I'm going to show you the rest of the year projections. You can see how the Astros offense really balanced, really good across the board. The only player active on the Astros right now that's not projected to be at least a 96 WRC plus player is Gray Kessinger. So you can see the Astros overall really some good progress. Bregman up significantly. And Bregman went from 57 before the A series to 88 WRC plus right now. The good sign, and let's hope he keeps that up. The Brewers, as I mentioned, are hitting way above expectations. Here's where they are right now. If I left in the table for before the season, there'd be a lot more blue in this lineup, guys. That team is doing really well. Christian Yelich leading the way. William Contreras leading the way offensively for the Brewers. Two guys that are just mashing the ball. Yelich at a 202 WRC plus. So you can see where they're at and where their projections are, and that's what feeds into the projection grade. So the projections have a little more normalized than where they've been or what they've been so far, but you can get the picture. The Brewers are no joke. Brewers are probably one of the better teams that the Astros will face the rest of the season. There's not a lot of them, but there's like 8 series that are going to be really tough series, and the Brewers are one. All right, so here we go. Let's do the pitching. And I told you the pitching really is a little bit. They were projected to be a 4.29 team, and they're really 4.33. Well, that's not that big of a difference, Larry. No, it's not, because what the message here is they're just not. This is a team that is gettable from a FIP standpoint. You're going to see the ERA is significantly better than the FIP, but you can see the Astros were a 4.2 FIP team, just edging out the Brewers. Like I said, there's a lot of teams in that zone. You can see between 4.2 was seventh highest, 4.29, 12th highest, and the WAR ranking. So, you guys, you got your projected FIPS for the Astros. This actually looks better than what the preseason FIPS would have been for some of these pitchers. If we pitch to that projected FIP for the rest of the year, that's going to be pretty good. Look at the core bullpen. The top three red, and you can compare where some of the challenges have been, where the pitchers are not pitching up to the projections. Hunter Brown, Justin Verlander, and Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero. As far as FIP, and I know it's a lot of you guys, though some of those names may sound like a surprise to you because you're thinking ERA. I really focus on FIP because I believe it's more predictive for the future, and that has played out that way. I'll have to admit, guys, I know that that Parker Machinsky is supposed to be coming up, and I assume that means that Sean Dubin at the 39 pitches last night will be going down. Let's see if there's anything official from the Astros on to that effect. I don't. Okay. I know. Well, let me pause here as I'm seeing the message from the Astros too, guys. Be careful. I know. There's a lot of damage in downtown Houston. A lot of people without power. I just want you guys to know I'm thinking about you, praying for you, and would ask that y'all take extreme caution about don't risk your life going to a baseball game tonight, and some of us will be watching and hoping for rooting on the Astros. I will actually be at a Texas Longhorn game tonight. I should have my Texas cap on because that's where I will be with my daughter celebrating my birthday a couple weeks late. But that's we're gonna celebrate the birthday. It's my birthday month, so we're gonna celebrate with my daughter tonight. All right, let's go on. You guys don't want to hear about that. The Astros and the Brewers bullpen. These FIPS are really good. Some of these pitchers, Freddie Peralta, 3.09, Robert Glazer doing well. But there are some. So notice that after Peralta tonight, we got Wilson and Colin Ray. Those pitchers are gettable for the Astros. So don't get down if the Astros don't quite edge out Freddie Peralta with Hunter Brown. Just know that we got a better matchups coming in the next two games. All right, let's move on. All right, let's talk about the ERA versus the FIP. So you can see that the FIPS are better for the Astros than the ERAs. There's a pretty good difference as far as overall starters. Those numbers have gone. The A's, as you guys know, the Astros pitching overall did fairly well versus the A's. The relief numbers improved after the series with the A's as well. Okay, so you can say, well, they're just the A's. Well, the A's have been better than just the A's for so far this season. You can see the Brewer numbers. The Brewers, FIP is significantly worse for their starters than their ERA. So if you compare the two FIPs for the starters, these two teams are 26 and 27. Not great, and also very close to each other. You compare the FIPs for the bullpens. These two teams are in the 20 and 21 with a 4-11 and a 4-15. So the pitching would be a really close matchup. We got the Brewers mashing better than expected, and you got the Astros a little less in the bats than expected. What's going to happen? Well, we shall see. But I think it's going to be a really entertaining and really close series. Let's talk about some of these pitchers. because the Astros have like two groups of pitchers, guys. The Astros that have been, well, I would call lucky. That's the guys at the top of this group. You got Seth Martinez that's been lucky, Rafael Montero that's been lucky. In other words, their ERAs are significantly better than their FIPS. Ronel Blanco's been lucky, and you can also see this by their BABIP numbers. Justin Verlander, who you guys really are pumped at the 3.38 ERA, and we should be. But then there's a cautionary tale with the FIP of 5.09. And I tweeted today, which Astros starter that's currently on the team has the highest FIP? And the answer is Justin Verlander, guys. And let's hope that FIP comes down with a couple more good appearances. They got Brian Abreu that I would call lucky with a 1.45 ERA to FIP gap and not a terribly high BABIP. So you can see, guys, that those guys. And then you got the guys down at the bottom in green. Those are the guys I would say have been horribly unlucky. Sean Dubin has a 2.97 FIP and a 6.59 ERA. That's crazy. And look at the BABIPs there. Look at the other BABIPs in green. The Ryan Presley, Hunter Brown, Spencer Arrighetti, Josh Hader. All of those have FIPs way too high. Have BABIPs that are way too high. That's driving an ERA number that's really out of step with the FIP. Expect that those are all going to normalize. Expect that the ERA is going to get closer to the FIP. Expect the BABIPs are going to come down. Those guys are going to get less unlucky. Expect the guys at the top, the opposite to happen. Their BABIPs are going to go up. Their ERAs are going to go up, and their FIP may edge down a little bit. So there you go. That's what we expect will happen with this. It's interesting when we scale this or by FIP. And you can see that, Belak, who's no longer with the team, got traded for cash considerations. JP Francis in AAA. You want to say, well, why did they get rid of Belak? This table tells the story. Highest FIP of the guys that have pitched more than 10 innings this year. All right, guys. So there you go. The rest of this is going to have your standard tables. This is where I would invite you guys to really dig in and look at this data. But this is going to tell you, this is the data that we use when we build the moneymaker matchups. And you can see how the batters do against the different types of pitches, the fastballs, the breaking balls, and the off-speed pitches. When you understand the data in here and you see how it plays out, and I've talked about this in other videos related to this, the previews. Guys, we've got a lot of guys that are really great fastball hitters and not so good at breaking, not really all that, some that aren't great at off-speed pitches. And this is why you get different matchups. Let's point out like Joey Loperfido. Okay, versus lefties, Joey Loperfido is a pretty decent fastball. I mean, it's a slightly below average. So he's not a great. His overall XWOB with 230. That's because he's absolutely terrible breaking and off-speed pitch hitter versus lefties. So if you got a pitcher that throws a lot of breaking and off-speed pitches, it's a lefty. Joey Loperfido doesn't belong out there against him, unless it's a game like last night where they have a huge lead, and you just let Joey Loperfido go be Joey Loperfido. I want to back up for a minute instead of talking about Joey Loperfido. Can we pause for a minute? Let's look at Joey Loperfido on here. 139 WRC plus actual, guys. Now, will he keep that up? Well, the projected stats say 97 the rest of the year. Average major league hitter out Joey Loperfido in his rookie season, that'd be great. But at a 139 so far, it's pretty awesome. Let me come back down. Sorry about that. I had to do it. You can see how the rest of the bench, how the guys match up. Trey Cabbage a little better versus lefties, but you can see, guys, this is the matchups and why you typically won't see Loperfido and Cabbage versus lefties batting at all. I think Loperfido's got just a handful of plate appearances versus lefties. Now, look at that same pitcher versus righties. You see Cabbage, a really good fastball hitter, but again, struggles versus the breaking and off-speed pitches. Come down here to Loperfido, not as good as Cabbage versus fastballs. Significantly better. One of the best bats on the team versus breaking. One of the better bats on the team versus off speed. Joey Loperfido should play about against every right-handed pitcher that the other team throws out there, unless that pitcher is a really dominant fastball pitcher, and they just don't think that Loperfido is going to have a good night against the fastball. In that case, you may go with a Jake Myers, who is a little better versus the fastball, or you could go with there are other choices. You could put Trey Cabbage in there in a night like that. So it just the point of this, and we got into this, and really for the detail of this, go to the Astros weekly recap, because Glenn and I went through this. The recap that was probably like the 6th of May. Check that one out, because that'll give you all the detail. All right, here's the Astros pitchers. Here's the data for the pitchers. Like Spencer Getty, as described in the verbiage, is in there as a hybrid of his minor league stats from 2003, 2004. The yellow lines are here the pitchers that really don't have enough of a sample size to even really be talking too much. Josh Hader, only 194 pitches versus left-handed bats. It's kind of like no one sends up a lefty versus Josh Hader. So we use those numbers with pretty high confidence, because the major leagues are telling you they don't want to bat against them. And here's the data versus right-handers. The Milwaukee data is interesting. You can see the bats, and you can see where they are. Again, this would tell you they're a good fastball hitting team, not so much against the breaking and off speed. So we should probably see quite a bit of off speed pitches and quite a bit of breaking stuff from the Astros pitchers. At least the lefties, according to this table. Notice that Jackson in here doesn't have the data because he's a rookie. Same with Chris Roller. Batters versus the right-handed pitchers, similar story. Much better against fastballs than against the breaking and off-speed pitches. And you can see how you can envision how they might match up versus the different options. Here's their pitchers. This is the data with Freddie Peralta. Really good overall. Going to be a really challenge for the lefties and versus the righties. He does get his off-speed pitch hit by righties fairly hard. That's not a huge sample. Well, it's 6% of 1,300, so that's a pretty good sample size still. So I don't know that we'll see too many off-speed pitches from Freddie Peralta, only probably to the guys that can't really hit off-speed or don't hit off-speed pitches well. You notice that there's not the Brewers as a team versus right-handed hitters. Look at the low levels of off-speed pitches. This is not an off-speed pitch throwing team. Interesting point there. Similarly for the lefties, they just don't throw a lot of off-speed pitches. This is the kind of data you can see from your premium tables, guys. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it off there. Let's go Astros. It's going to be an interesting series versus the Brewers, and let's hope that they're able to take at least 2 or 3. Going to be a challenge tonight versus Freddie Peralta, but we'll see how it plays out. Let me know if you have questions. Reach out to me on Twitter or Facebook, or you can go to the website and leave me a message there. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Bye-bye.